Guys, Deluded Gooner, YouTube's N'Golo Kante, I'm back again. Thank you very much for having me, folks. Sad news, man. Gideon Zelalem, just the other day, he was 16 waiting to come over to England. He was a 17-year-old wonder kid. He went on loan to Rangers. Wenger said eventually he'd be there. There was talk of his levels technically with Cesc Fabregas even ahead at this age. And as someone that's watched him, I've always said physically there was question marks, more so his younger days. But technically, if it was just based on technical ability, he'd be a professional footballer. Well, you know what I mean, in the top level, because technically he's there. Now, it hasn't cracked on, whether it was loans that didn't kick on, whether it was competition for places. I know there's the likes of Willock who's overtaken him in Wenger's thoughts when Emirates Cup. There's a couple other men like that. Emil Smith's not in Wenger's immediate thoughts, but he's even been playing central midfield. Jay De Silva can play central midfield, highly rated by Arsene Wenger. Dragomir, who I would want to play more, is kicking on, and there's a couple others. And there's Maitland-Niles playing centre mid as well. Well, right back, but you know he's a midfielder. So there's a lot of competition. So when you're stalling and these men are taking them chances, you're going to be in limbo. He's 21 years of age now, I believe, and his contract, I'm pretty sure he renewed it last year, so I don't know if it's up in 2018 or 2019, but he's now had a setback with his injury. He got injured at the Under-20 World Cup. I believe he hurt his ligaments. I was watching that game, playing for America. He's come back in January, trying to prove his fitness. He was back running, and he's now had a setback, so he's going to miss the whole season. And for a player like him, as a young player, it's sad that they're robbed of these vital development years, to be honest with you. Personally, I still think he'll have a decent career, whether that's at a Premier League club or a top-level championship club or in Spain, because he's got the ability. He just needs to grow, not grow like height, but grow physically, get a bit stronger. He's got the technical ability, but to be honest, sometimes unless you're looking for it, you don't really know he's playing. And I don't mean in the sense that he's out of play. You know he's there passing the ball and stuff, but he's not his marks on the game. In the sense that if we look at other creative midfielders or central mid, more time, you know Podrick's running the show. You know Verratti was there. You know Thiago was there. In fact, Pogba could learn from this. No disrespect. But you get me? These things. I still think he's going to have a decent career. I still think he could be one of America's talisman or one of the people they look to, along with, well, not on the level of Pulisic, but he can still have a career. It's just sad now because the likes of Dragomir, Willock, Emil Smith played centre mid a couple times. So on that basis, Josh, Maitland-Niles, there's a couple other examples for you guys to insert of midfielders ahead of him now. Essentially, I don't even want to say ahead because it can all change. It's different. But Coquelin looked like to have no future here, and then he got one. Like I said, I don't know for his contract whether it's up this year or not, but you'd like to think a loan or a permanent move happens in the summer. He can't really afford to just be wasted away in the Under-23s again, which he was prior to his injury. He really needs to kick on, get some football. There's also Ben Chief, who I forgot to say, can play defence. He can play in midfield as well as defence. He's earmarked long term as a centre half, but you get the point. There's always going to be a lot of competition at these clubs, and you've got to be able to fight. Essentially, it's sad, man, because if it was, like I said, if it was just based on technical ability, he'd be able to play. Like, I honestly believe that technically he has no problem fitting in. It's just the other things and the injuries and stuff, and it's sad. I really hope that he have some sort of career of course it doesn't look like he's gonna have what he was built up to with the next Fabregas and things like that, and this is where we need to be careful with the hype, because I don't want to wish any injuries on anyone or whatever, but say this was always how he's meant to plan out. Say he wasn't meant to be the next Cesc. I'm so sure him and Gnabry look like the future. There was even talk of Germany trying to get him at one point and things. Like I said, I still think he can have a top career for America and play at a top level in a top flight somewhere, but he just really needs to get some football. The one thing I'd say, man, he's got to have terrific mental strength, because just based on his Insta posts and things, he never gets his head down, and with these injuries as a young pro, you can become disillusioned, man. Hopefully, away from just making it Arsenal, hopefully he gets a clear run and he gets through this, because you guys know already I don't like this sort of stuff, especially for young players. But shout out to Gideon Zelalem. I've waffled. I hope you've taken something away. I apologise for going off on bits, but guys, Deluded, I'm out. In the comments.